Hello, Dominators. It's Ryan Perry with Page Domination, and I have Michael Mattis on the other side. Good morning, or actually, it's afternoon now. Michael, how you doing today?
Hey, Ryan. Good to see you. Things are great. Beautiful weather out here in Cabo.
All right, good to hear. Today, we're going to talk about content marketing, and one of your sayings is that content marketing is king, and many people will agree with that. The derivative or the difference, I guess, is that you believe that promotion is queen if you really want to get your content visible on Google.
Agree. I mean, I've read a lot of great articles, but unless there's engagement, a couple months ago, certainly a couple years ago, you could have just taken an article, write it and optimize it in such a way that the search engines can find it, because the search engines are looking for certain keywords. And just by optimizing an article, it would be found on the search engines. Well, over the last several months, we've created over 250 different pages. Many of these pages and sites are used just to measure what's working and what's not working. So we've tested some theories, how many words should it be? How often should you use the keywords so that it shows up? What needs to happen next. And we've concluded, certainly we talk a lot about, a lot more about this in our marketing blueprint course, but what we concluded is you can no longer just write, a 750 word article and put it up on your webpage and expect it to rank. I mean, today we're testing articles that are 1,200 words, 1,500 words, and in some cases 2,000 words. And not only just written to be optimized for the search engines, but very specifically written to engage your audience where they actually enjoy reading it. So instead of just throwing words up there and try to hit a number, but actually write, a very compelling, article that's relevant with some good images and something that people would actually want to read. So the days of just throwing content up on the internet just doesn't work today. It's all about, getting your clients engaged through social media, liking it, making comments, getting some engagements, and certainly shares. So, in addition to just having articles written and having a certain number of words written, it's got to be, written in such a way that your audience will connect and, share the information out on the internet. And that's what we've been measuring, and that's what we found is working today. So.
Okay, now let me ask you this. You talk about creating content that's engaging. You brought up social media. How important is it today to have social media kind of give that social proof that the quality of the content is good? How does that affect ranking on Google?
That's a great question. We've actually tested that theory as well too. It's written that duplicate content does not, rank. Well, I tested that, and I'm going to talk about, that question you just asked. I've taken an article that was written before, we wrote it, and we took the same article, same language and everything. And this article was written 6 months ago. We took the same article, put it up on a different site today. The difference is we just got clients to like, comment, share, engage. And just because I like, comment, and shared, that article ranked much higher, even though the first article was written 6 months earlier. Just because we got social media people and we promoted it out on the social networks and people, actually commented, engaged, and it went viral, it climbed up the search engines much higher than the one that was written previously. So, how do you write an article where people are going to like, comment, and share? It's got to be compelling. It's got to be interesting. It's got to be, you have to engage them, with infographics. I've seen some really nice articles. I mean, infographics are selling with, statistics and so forth. And it just has to be, interesting. That's what's going viral. Stuff that's either, funny, interesting, who knows? But, we tested a bunch of things, and we know just because that social stuff, it will go rank higher up.
Okay. Because I'm a big fan of video, I have to ask you, have you done any testing around incorporating video into your content marketing?
Video is huge. Video by itself has a lot of authority. So when you can create a video that's typically a minute to minute and a half long and it's engaging, people will typically prefer to watch a minute and a half long video over, reading a 30-minute article. So if you could take a video that's, engages the audience, is short, is to the point, it has a lot of authority, and you attach that to in an article with some good images, yeah, that is so powerful. I mean, we try to add a video, 97% of the time, because we know videos have stories, and they're much more effective to rank. They're much more effective to get your audience to watch, and it's a lot easier to share a video out on the internet as well too.
All right. Okay. Then the other thing that I always find interesting is that when people talk about SEO, content marketing, anything internet related, a lot of times the information, at least to me, seems like they're talking on a national level. If you want to be found nationally or internationally, a lot of the clients that we work with, though, have a local business. That is, they're a dentist, an eye doctor, an auto body shop, auto repair, and therefore their clientele might be within a 20 to 30 mile radius. At that point, we start geo-targeting. Do you find, and I'm not sure if you've done testing, but as far as geo-targeting specific cities, does the content need to be as good, and does the social share need to be as strong to be found in, say, Los Angeles versus on a national search?
Wow, we could probably talk about 2 hours on that. If we can take the same mechanics that we use to promote on a global or on a national and take it to the local business, if we use the same strategies, absolutely, the ranking is going to be much easier. I mean, just because you're a local business, there's still things you have to do. You can't just write an article and put a video up and expect it to be at the top of the search engines. You still have to optimize it. And what I mean by optimizing, it's got to be some keywords in there. You have to use it so many times. I mean, you have to notify the search engines what that video or the article is about. And you need to be really specific, especially with the mobile devices that are out there, because they're looking for very specific and targeted, geo-targeting, as you mentioned, keywords. As an example, I was working with an automotive store in Southern California, and he was going after the keyword automotive. Well, the keyword automotive is, it's very generic, and there's millions and millions of searches, a month for automotive. It's going to be very hard to, rank that. But if we were very specific, geo-targeted, and said, automotive in Orange County, as an example, or Orange County Automotive, or whatever, other city, Irvine, Aliso Viejo, I mean, these are different cities in Southern California. If you attach that to the keyword, because it's localized, you're going to have a much better chance of being found, just because of, you're going after it locally. So does that answer your question, or did I miss something?
No, I think it does. It's just that a lot of times, I guess part of the is also, you talk about creating content that's not 750, but 1,500 words to 2,000 words. I'm assuming that's on a national basis. If you're trying to be found on a national basis, do we have to go to the same extent if you're in a small city? And I think part of that also depends on the size of the city and the competition. You talk about Southern California. For me, I'm up in Northern California, where population here is like 110,000, I think. It's much smaller, therefore the competition's not as great. Do we have to put as much energy in creating these really long content articles? And then also, do we have to do the same amount of social share at a local basis versus big city or national?
That's a very good point. When I was talking about 1,500, 2,000 keywords, yes, we're going after kind of a national. And certainly, I can't tell you that we need to write an article that's 1,500 words or even 2,000 words, even locally, because, it's based on the search parameters. So if there's a keyword that has, 100 searches a month, we probably have to treat that differently than a keyword we want to target that has maybe, 5,000 searches a month. So, a lot of that is on a case-by-case basis, but typically I think because of it's a local business owner, you're right. We probably don't need 1,500 words. So, maybe 500 words will be enough. But again, it's how you optimize it. Of course, the more shares and engagement you'll get, certainly it's going to help. And, just by writing an article today and throwing it up there, it might be relevant for, a few months until, maybe a competitor or someone else comes up with a new article and replaces that, because that happens. A lot of business owners think that, hey, they wrote a great article, they got some engagement, but after a few months, that engagement starts to drop off, and so does the article. So it's always about, refreshing your site, your social media with fresh content. In fact, social media, they love sites that has life. If you just throw something up there and expect it to last forever, it's not. We've tested that so many times. We've had stuff that ranked at the top, and 9 months, 12 months later, it starts to drop. So we have to re-inject it, recirculate it to the social medias and so forth to get it, back up to the top. But, I think, to answer your question, local promotion, marketing, advertising for a business owner in a particular area is much easier to rank, because you don't have that, that highly competitive keyword that they have to go after, because it's, it's very laser focused. So I agree with you.
Okay. So the key takeaway, I think, for if you're a local business owner, is that you don't have to invest as much time, money, and energy as you would on a national campaign. That's great, because it really depends on what your local competition is doing. So if it's, the amount of work that you have to put in really depends on your local competition and what industry that you're in. Somebody who does facials, as an example, is not going to be competing at the same level as an attorney typically, because that typically is a more competitive market space. I always like to give a quick tip or helpful trick. So if content is king, and hopefully everybody knows that now, we create the content, we put it out on our blog. If promotion's queen, can you give us one tip that a small business owner could use today in order to create more engagement, maybe through Twitter, Google Plus, Facebook, any of them?
I think our earlier video, we talked about, boosting on Facebook and how effective, promoting a campaign on Facebook is, and how almost inexpensive it is just to generate, some good results and so forth. I tested campaigns at $5, $10, just to kind of jumpstart it. And just by investing that $5 or $10 and it jumpstarts and it gets up to enough people and it starts to, get critical mass, that may be all you need, is just to, invest $5, $10, or certainly maybe 30 minutes an hour to make sure the description is written right. It's got some good videos, some good images, and you post it out on Facebook. And of course, you want to take that same post and put on the other, Twitter, Google Plus, and so forth. But one thing that we talk about in our page domination marketing blueprint, I think it's in phase 2, in evaluation phase, we talk and we show you hands-on how to assess what your competition is doing, how to assess how much activity on a particular keyword there is. And then once you have that information, just like anything else, you can create a target list, and you have a good finger on your pulse as to what you have to do to get it to the top. And when we go over that in phase 2, you'll know as a business owner exactly what's going to be necessary to be found on the internet. And that's why we're really excited, or that's why I'm excited about put the course together to help the local business succeed online.
Yeah, and I know there's one of the courses that I teach is actually, there's a free tool that's out there. It's a piece of software that you can download that will collect all of that information for you, from SEO statistics to social media information about what your competition is doing. And it's really powerful to know what your competition is doing, because then at least you can go into a marketing effort with your eyes open versus blindfolded.
Yeah, there are so many powerful tools on the internet today, and I would say 90% are free. And we talk about those free tools, and we give you examples of how they work and how to use them, so that it will arm you with the information you need to be found on the internet. So yeah, great stuff, and that's what I'm excited about putting the course together.
All right, perfect. Any last thoughts? Otherwise, we're going to close this out.
No, I appreciate you guys. I'm hoping that you're getting some good, valuable information on that. Please share it. Comment below the video. We're here, Ryan and I. We're here to help your business be found. That's what we are passionate about. And if we could do that, we're happy. So I just appreciate your time, and we look forward to our next video and time together.
Yeah, perfect. All right, Michael. And the other thing I want to do is, if you as a viewer have any questions, comments, maybe there's something you're confused about, you need clarification about, let us know. We might create a video for you.
That's
all right, Michael. Yeah. All righty, sir. I'm going to let you go. Have a great day.
All right. Thanks, Ryan.
All right. Bye.